up, everybody? I'm Bobby Jarrell.
And I'm Marthea.
And this is
No Filter.
So we're the hosts of this brand new show that we want to share with the world. Now, before we get started and talking about the topic and everything like that, I just want to talk about what No Filter is and why we're doing No Filter.
I think for me, and we've had this conversation, we go through so many things in life, and not necessarily do you want to go to a therapist or you always want to call on your friends, so you go to YouTube. You go to YouTube to put in the search bar what you may be feeling, and so I think this show is honestly gonna be so good for people to come and get information about certain things that you're going through, and I think we've been through a lot to kind of put our honest opinion, and I think we've overcome a lot.
Yes, definitely.
So that's just what No Filter is.
Yeah, because I think for me personally, it's like I have a lot that I deal with, and a lot of times I kind of like internalize a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so being able to sit here and have an open, honest conversation with you and in front of the camera, I think it'll be helpful for other people. Because a lot of times, one of the things I learned years ago was that I'm not the only person going through what I'm going through. I used to think I was, like nobody can understand, nobody can relate.
Yeah.
But once I started opening up and realizing that, okay, dang, there's other people that have the same experiences that I have, and they can relate to what I'm going through.
Exactly.
And it feels good to be able to sit down and share that with people. So that's why I wanted to do this show. And I think for me, it's like, I want it to be like, it's no filter. It's open, honest, sharing our, like you said, true, authentic selves.
Yeah.
So hopefully people will receive it well, and if there's anybody out there that's going through something, y'all have a topic that y'all want us to discuss, hit us up. Let us know, and we'll try our best.
We'll try our best, and then if we can't if we haven't personally been through it, like we'll research it. I think we are pretty professional when we have a professional group of people around us, and we can just reach out to them. Whatever you're going through, we can be a help.
And like I said, we're not saying we know therapists. We know. Well, I'm somewhat a therapist. I'm a behavior analyst, but we know we're not psychiatrists, psychologists, and all that. Like, what is your degree in?
My degree is interdisciplinary studies.
Okay.
So I was teaching at first, and now I am with the state, a family specialist, and so I work with children who have been sexually abused.
Yeah. So like that's a lot. It's just a lot within that by itself, that like being able to share that experience. I know you can't talk about like personal things, but it's just being able to share some of the things that you've seen and heard, and it's like it's a lot.
It's a lot.
For me, like my undergrad is in sociology with a minor in psychology, and I'm getting my master's in special education with a focus in applied behavior analysis. And so it's like I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. But I gotta get it done, and and we'll talk about it a little later on. So our topic for today is being black in 2020, and I think that I wanted to have, like, we went back and forth about what topic we want to talk about, and for me, like right now with everything that's going on with the election that just happened last week, I feel like that was a good topic to start this show off with.
Exactly, and I think history has been made.
Yes. Definitely.
History has literally been made for black people, black women. Hey, it's just a really good time right now for us.
Yes.
I can't speak for anybody else of any other color. But
so before we get into it, I want to give you guys a word from our sponsors. For all your catering needs, check out Cheddar's Cajun House. We cater birthday parties, weddings, gatherings, and parties. You can reach us at conchettainn@yahoo.com or by phone at 832-344-7650. Again, that's Cheddar's Cajun House. Welcome back, everyone. So like we said, our topic for today is being black in 2020. So this year, the fact that here we are is November 12th. So it's the year's almost over, but I don't feel like I've accomplished a lot within the year. But I feel like just with the quarantine, it's like I feel like I missed out on so many opportunities to do certain things and just to like experience things. So how has the year been for you? Just one, dealing with quarantine, and then dealing with all of the killings and everything that's been going on.
Well, first of all, like you said, we're in November, and a month ago, it was like time was moving so slow.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it just sped up. So in quarantine, like the first, like when everything was shut down, like it was really hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. And then time kept going by, and then just the racism was coming to a head. And I literally had to like get away from social media. It was just so heartbreaking to be in, like, to just be in that space, be in this space.
Yeah.
So that it was hard. What about you?
The same. It was hard. Like it's you know, as like I'm going through my mind and I'm trying to figure out like where to even start with everything. I feel like quarantine, that kind of kicked it off because I bought a new house. Thank you. I bought the house, and I want to say I moved in like either a few days before quarantine, like kind of everything just shut down. And so I was in basically a new space, and then dealing with depression and insomnia and stuff like that. It was hard because I'm a Cancer. I'm a creature of habit. Like I want things to be a certain way, and then once I get used to it, that's my comfort zone. And so I didn't have that comfort zone. And it's like, as much as like I'm happy with my house and I love my house, but like in those first couple of weeks,
how do you enjoy it?
I couldn't. Honestly, I could not enjoy it at all. And so then on top of that, when everything started happening, well, I'm not started happening. It's like it seemed like it kind of increased with all of the murders and things like that of unarmed black men and women, and you kind of sit back and you wonder, like, for me, honestly, there was days where I'm like, could it be me? You know, am I next? Is it my one? I have 4 nephews.
Wow.
A couple of weeks ago, and like I'm from Raceland, Louisiana, and there was this guy that I knew when we were kids, and he was killed a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
And in that area, it's like my nephew, he works offshore, but like he still lives in that area, and it's like not far from where the guy was killed. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, we need to learn how to kind of mend those broken pieces that we have within ourselves and that like ill intent that we have towards other people, and say, okay, let's put that aside and figure out how can we be better for ourselves and better for other people. And so like with my nephew, like I just had to reach out to him because I'm like, you know, we don't talk as much as I would like, but I'm like, in that moment, I'm like, that could have been my nephew.
Right.
That could have been me.
Right.
And that's something that I think a lot of people, they don't, other people of other races, and there may maybe be some black people that haven't had some of the same experiences, they don't understand what it's like living in our skin every day in our experiences.
The fear of it.
Yes.
Because like you said, you know, we all have fathers, we all have cousins, and when you look on the TV and you see another hashtag, it's like, man, that could be my cousin as another hashtag. And even with you know, with the racism, with COVID, we were losing loved ones and everything. So this year has just been such a year where death this is what I was saying. I'm like, death is all around.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's, 2021 me please.
Well, you know, even with saying, okay, 2021, man, the virus is still here. We're not gonna leave the virus in 2020. Like what's gonna happen is gonna be another year of like quarantine and losing people. And for me, it's like it's almost like there's no hope. Like this year, I said I bought a Christmas tree. I'm like, I want to decorate. I want to be able to get into the Christmas spirit. I love watching Christmas movies and things like that. And it's like I want to get into that space to kind of block out everything else that's going on around me. So I want to talk about this. Okay, do you know you kind of work independently, right? Like kind of on your own. Like you're not in the office surrounded by your supervisors and stuff like that. So have you had any kind of experiences when it comes to being in the workplace and having to deal with what's going on in society?
Not in the workplace, because majority of us in the workplace
Okay.
are us.
That's good.
But I can say that I'm from a small town, and so I didn't deal with racism until I got in the world, like when I came to college and everything, and it was just an eye opener, because I've heard my parents talk about segregation and things like that, and in my mind I'm like, oh well, everything's good, I don't have to deal with that. And then when you become an adult, you see, man, nothing's really changed from what they were talking about. And then 2021, 2020, look, y'all, I'm trying to get to 2021. Get me out. When you get to 2020, it's like we're living in a time where my parents were living in and my grandparents.
And that's like with this topic, when I was telling you about it, I was like, you can talk about the culture and everything. My thing is like, why are we in 2020 and still dealing with the same BS? And it's, one of the things for me, like, okay, with work, it's hard because I work in a field that is predominantly white female. Oh. And like
Little Karen.
Yeah.
Little Karen.
Yes, a lot of them, a lot of young ones at that. But for me, like, I am a board certified assistant behavior analyst, and I'm going to school to become a board certified behavior analyst. And in the time, like, I've been in the field since August of 2012.
Okay.
Guess. I want you to guess, okay? Okay? You ready?
Sit.
If you had to guess how many black male or female supervisors I've had, like, just take a ballpark guess that I've had in 8 years, black male or female, either a behavior analyst or assistant behavior analyst. Like, take a ballpark guess.
None.
Damn, you're good. None.
Because, I mean, it's not fair. And we know it's not fair.
At all.
And I think as much as we're young, I know we want to fight for that change.
Yes. And
my whole question is, when will the change be? Where does it start? Okay,
so, and that's the hard part, because like I had one situation where I had white male supervisor who was over me, and I didn't he told me thank you for something, and I didn't respond to him. I got a performance improvement plan because I didn't respond and say you're welcome to him. Now, mind you, at the time, I think I was about, was I 30 at the time? Wow. I was like either early, like 30 or late 20s. Okay. At the time. Okay. So I'm a grown man.
Right.
If I don't want to say you're welcome, I don't want to say you're welcome. So they gave me a performance improvement plan. And the thing is, what was on the plan was nothing that had to do with the incident of me not saying you're welcome. Right. And everything was on the plan. It was a flat out lie. The owner of the company knew it was a lie. I hope and pray that the clinical director and the HR lady, I hope they knew it was a lie, because like I've known them from the time I started in the company, and I had only known him a couple of months, and so and it hurt me because like this is you're attacking my character, the person who I am. Everything that you put on this paper are lies, and so if it was an issue of me not saying you're welcome, that I would have signed it. No, I didn't say you're welcome. If you felt it disrespectful, I'll say it. That's fine. But what you gave me, it was a lie. And so for me, it was a thing of, at the time I was working on, had started on my bachelor's, and I was working on my certification for my BC ABA. And so I look at it like, were you threatened? Because I knew how to do my job. That was an issue for them. But then, okay, let's fast forward. I started a new company, and if anybody in that company is watching this right now, I want to say, like, what I'm saying is not an attack on the people.
Right.
It was a company that was made up of females, and predominantly all white females. There was one, like a 27-year-old black female as a supervisor.
Okay.
Everybody else was all either white or Hispanic, whatever, and in leadership positions. There was no males in leadership, no black males in the company. Like, it was only myself and one other black male in the company. And I remember sitting down with the owner, and I told her, I was like, for me as a black man, I always feel like I have to work harder. I have to prove myself. And then on top of my degree, that's not enough.
Yeah.
My certification, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Being in a grad program is not enough.
Exactly.
8 years in the field is not enough. And so, like, once when I got my certification, like, I wasn't offered any type of position or nothing like that. And I'm like, I haven't worked 8 years to get to where I am to be doing the same thing I did when I started 8 years ago.
Exactly. And you have the credentials.
Exactly.
But to kind of, continue the conversation with the guy who did the performance evaluation, that was like a power move.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a power move.
It was.
Like, and I think that's the whole issue. It's like, we're so popping, like we're so creative, and we're such beautiful race, and they can't stand that.
Yeah, and so let me give you a little bit more icing on the cake. So
it's more.
Yeah, it's more. So he was like a program director. The owner of the company, I used to I would sit with her son, like she would like have like a little night out during the week or 1 or 2 nights a week. I would stay at the house, watch the son.
Okay.
She went on vacation 1 week. I stayed at the house for a week.
Okay.
That's the owner of the company.
Okay.
So my thing is like, this lady trusts me to be in her house to look after her child. But yet somebody else gonna write me up for something like not responding.
Right.
It's like that has nothing to do with my job.
Wow.
They were like, "Oh, you need to smile in the morning meetings. You need to give input." And I'm like,
"Wow, that petty."
Yes, very petty.
That petty.
So I got my performance improvement plan. I said, "Okay, here's my I think it was like October or so. It might have been like early November. I was like, here's my notice. I'll work up until Christmas break." So they were like, "Oh, you probably won't make it until Christmas break." Cause like I'm the type of person, like, once you piss me off and I'm done.
Yeah.
But when they told me, don't be like that. Now that's a whole nother story. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Anyway, we were talking about that one time.
Don't do me that.
Don't be putting me out there like that. That was not all my fault now, cause you know.
No, I know.
You know.
I know.
But anywho, we'll talk about that another time. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna work up until Christmas break, and that was like the second to last week of December. And so they was like, the owner, she was like, I know you probably won't be able to tolerate them. And I asked her, I was like, did you ever read the performance improvement plan? She was like, no, I haven't read it. And for me, it was a thing of, so you choosing their side when you know they're wrong.
And she was white, right?
Yes.
Because they stick together.
It was this, like, oh, he's a supervisor. He's bringing in the money. At the time, I just was an RBT, a registered behavior technician. And so I'm like, okay, that's perfectly fine. But guess what? I worked up until my last day. Right. And I didn't say bye to nobody.
But it's the money, and they are like this.
Yeah. And
it is sad because we're not.
Yes. Cause, so you said, you brought up the question of how is it going to change? Like, what do we need to do to make that change? And until we can come together and say, I got you, you got me, it ain't gonna change. And I think that a lot of times, like, we look at people, I don't know where, I can't remember what I saw it on, but they were having a conversation about, like, one person, if there's a position that's available for, say, doctor or something. I don't know. And then it's a field full of white male and female. They're going to give that position to one black person, right? All black people feel like they're in competition with each other to get that position.
Right.
And it shouldn't be like that. At the end of the day, if me and you apply for the same position, I'm going to be happy if you get it.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, I want to see you win. I want to see you succeed.
Exactly.
That's you opening up the door for somebody else.
For real.
And I don't understand, like, why do you think so many black people have this, like, crab in a bucket mentality?
Because it's been like that for years, and it goes back to after we integrated, then that's when, you know, you start seeing, because in segregation, when we were segregated, like, black people had their own businesses, they were raising their family, black kids had black teachers who cared. And once we integrated, it was like, okay, I got to get up to the top. But when I get up to the top, I'm bringing my kids and my wife. But you can't come up here with me because you know maybe too much about my past, or you may take over what I've done. And it's baffling because we could be so much better than that. Even with the killings. And with the killings, this is my position on it. Okay, so I know we are dealing with the cops killing black people. We see it on the TV every day. But in my mind, I feel like they feel like it's okay because they see it on the TV. We do it to each other every day. So why is it that you're upset when I kill them and I'm authority, and you, Pookie and Boo Boo, then got into a fight and you kill him? It's not racism. Yeah,
I saw a post from, I want to say maybe Meek Mills. I'm not sure. But the post was basically saying, like, why do, like, rappers and, you know, just people that's, you know, in the hood and living their life and everything, they praise the trenches. You saw that one?
Yes.
And it's like, when the trenches is the reason why they've lost so many of their family members and friends and stuff like that. And it's like, why? But it's like that hood mentality of, if you're not living this way, if you're not doing this, then you weak, then you a sellout. But it's like, why not figure out how to make it better? Find a way out for you and your people.
Right.
And that's something that a lot of people just don't do. Like, I'm from a small town also, and I go home and I look at people and I'm like, there's so many talented people. So many, this crazy talent, but yet they're not doing anything with it. And it's like, honestly, for me, like, you know, like, I enjoy, like, the acting, writing, and all that stuff. I feel like where I'm from, it didn't foster that. And if I would have still been there, I wouldn't have had some of the opportunities that I've had.
Right.
But it's like, I had to learn that.
The system was set up for us to not get far.
Yep.
It was set up for our fathers to go to jail, and men raised without fathers, and, you know, they look to the TV, and then you see the rappers on there with the jewelry and everything, and they out there selling drugs and rapping about it, and you feel like, what other alternative do I have? But
the thing about it is, like, let's say Jay-Z. Jay-Z can go out and make an album about living in the hood. He can make that album tomorrow. Jay-Z ain't living in the hood. The people that's listening to it, they sitting there, oh yeah, this the life, this the life. Jay-Z not living in the hood, bro.
Right. And the same thing is saying, this may be off topic, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Most of these rappers have booze. They not out here doing what they saying in the rap song, messing around with 4 and 5 females. They got one boo at home, but yeah. That was on topic. I felt that.
But it's even with like Cardi B. I think was it Offset posted a picture of her sweeping, and he was like, you a liar because she's like she don't cook and she don't clean. It's music, people. Stop believing it. Yeah. Okay, so I want to kind of switch to a little bit more serious of a topic.
Okay.
All right. what are your thoughts on Black Lives Matter and the whole movement?
So, I think when it first came about, it was like so much fire under Black people, and we thought that change was going to happen, or we thought something was going to happen. And don't get me wrong, it's a very good movement, because at the end of the day, my life matters. And I'm not saying that all lives doesn't matter, but we're the ones that are getting killed. So I think it's a good platform, but I don't think it's being utilized.
I agree 100%.
Best way.
And it's like we can have individual conversations with people and try to get people to understand what Black Lives Matters means and like how we feel about it. But it's hard because that's just one person. And I think a lot of times like they still don't quite understand it. And so like anytime someone has the rebuttal of, well, all lives matter, it's like, okay, do all lives really matter? If a person that says, oh, all lives matter, if you can't fix your mouth to say Black Lives Matter, then that means you don't believe all lives matter. Because it's all lives is up here. And then you got Black lives, white lives, Asian lives, Mexican lives, Chinese lives, all those lives. If one of those doesn't work, is not going the right way, that means all lives do not matter. And like for me, I think when people use, they say, okay, well, I don't agree with the rioting and stuff like that. Like, who agrees with it? Like, we agree with protesting, we agree with that. But you can't fault a whole movement because of the few people that decide to do the wrong thing. And so it's like when they say that, it's like, okay, if you believe that one or two people, not one or two people, it's more people rioting. I don't agree with the rioting, but if you look at these people that are rioting, you say, oh, Black Lives Matter is at fault for it. But you won't say the same thing when you got one or two police officers killing Black people. You won't say, oh, all officers or all police departments should be at fault.
And let's be clear, rioting did not start with Black people. Okay? It started with the majority. And so, I mean, we learned that from y'all. Well, I don't want to say y'all because I do not want anybody to think that I have anything against any race. I am just at this point so tired of not having, like you said, all lives mattering.
So, what would you say to someone that's watching that may not be of African descent?
Hey girl, hey, first of all.
But then again, most of them probably is of some African descent.
Like what he said. Well, let me still on a serious note. When George Floyd passed, I think that was the first time that I saw so many people of other race back us up. And it lasted for a minute. And then it died back down. And that's the thing. We are so, when something first happens, we're so, we're going to fight. And then it kind of goes back to, hey, we still need some fighting. But I did have a lot of people come to me and like, what can we do to understand? And at first I did get mad. Because I'm like, you don't see what's going on. Like, you don't need any books. You don't need a movie. You see what's going on. So what more can I tell you to do? But I talked to the Lord.
What did he say?
He said, girl, educate them.
Educate them. Amen, Jesus.
So, I reached out to her and sent over some books, some videos, some movies and everything. And I'm like, maybe this can open your eyes to why first of all, we're the way we are.
Yeah.
And just, our struggle, and we're not bad people.
So, like, I had a conversation with a friend and a white guy, and it was about, like, the whole Black Lives Matter and all of that. And one of the things I tried to explain, and maybe I didn't do the best I could do, but for me, it's like we live it every day.
Yes.
And I used to kind of push it under the rug, like the incident, what I said about the supervisor getting upset because I didn't speak. And it's like, for me, I'm like, oh, it's not about black and white. It's just, he's an asshole. But now when I look back on it, I'm like, this is a company that's never had a black male BCABA or BCBA. This is someone that's used to having people be more, what's the word I'm looking for? What does subservient mean? That's a word? Producer? No, we ain't got no producer. Look up this word.
Dictionary.
Anyway, but like, I want to say subservient. Subservient is a word.
Someone who, like, he wants someone to kiss his ass.
Yes, basically. And so it's like, I just wasn't there. Like, if you say something to me and I don't agree with it or I don't think it's right, then I'm going to say it. And so looking back on a lot of situations that I've been in like my adult life, I say, okay, was that because I was black? Or was it just an issue? But then I look back, like, I think it was because I was black. And I'm learning now that people that don't experience that on a daily basis, they don't relate. Right. So when we see somebody on the news, like we said earlier, I'm thinking that could be me. That could be my family members.
Right.
They're just looking at it as like, oh, somebody got killed. And, and they just move on with it. And one of the things I tried to say to him was like, I tried to say it in a way that he would understand, was like, if I was at their house and I was like, if I left here right now and I got shot by the police, you've been knowing me almost, 2 years now. You know what type of person I am. I've been in your home. I've had dinner with you.
Right.
I've looked after your kid. If I got shot, how would you feel? And it's like, it shouldn't have to be those personal experiences in order to get people to wake up and say, oh, damn, there's an issue.
Right.
If I'm telling you it's an issue, don't say, oh, well, there's more good people, there's more bad people. Stop and take, for anybody that's watching it right now that's, of a different race or whatever, that don't understand Black Lives Matter and don't understand the cry that we are crying out to you guys, take everything out of your mind. And when someone says something to you like, being black in 2020 is hard, don't come back with, oh, it's hard for everybody. Oh, it's a pandemic, everybody's struggling. Don't do that. Right. Stop and say, okay, why is it hard? When I tell you why it's hard, don't try to give me reasons of why it's not hard. You try to understand. You listen, you comprehend, you soak it in, and you try to understand and not give me reasons of why you feel otherwise. And I think that that's a lot of time when you try to have those type of conversations, they don't get it. That's like like at my old job, we had like a little town hall when this is back in, I want to say maybe June or so, like when everything was like, it was real bad. And in the town hall, I was sitting there and I was kind of like in that space of, do I say something, do I not say something? And so I was like, okay, let me share my truth. Right. And within my truth, it was, I'm dealing with insomnia, I'm dealing with depression, I'm having to come to work and I'm having to put a smile on my face. Right. Because God forbid if I go to work and I'm upset, let me say the wrong thing, let me look the wrong way, then that's an issue. Evaluation. And so like as a black man, and I'm so sorry, as a black person, because I'm not trying to say black women don't have the same struggles. We all going through it. Some women may be going through it in certain situations more, men may be going through it in certain situations, but we all going through it. So I want y'all to understand that we all in this together. But for me, it was like, I'm here and I'm having to show up. And everything that I'm going through personally, I got to put that shit on the back burner. Yeah. And then when I leave work, it's like I'm so exhausted. And and it's like people don't understand what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
So,
mm-hmm. And like you said, I think we've gotten to a place where if it doesn't affect us,
yeah.
don't worry about it. I like that. It don't affect me, so I can't feel either way about it. We've gotten so much to that place in society, and I think that's one thing that's wrong with the culture right now. Just everything, we're not feeling for one another. It takes us to kind of be empathetic to the next person because we're all going through something. Yes, we get it. But to my other counterparts,
Yeah, doing.
kind of feel where we've been, where we've come from. I know y'all don't have the same story, but just you see it though. It's in movies everywhere. You see it on the TV. You see it, and I'm tired of I have a black friend. Yeah, you have a black friend, but do you know that story?
Yeah.
You know, just kind of.
And this is a challenge to all black people out there also, because I had just like the thought that you had before you went to Jesus and Jesus put you on the right path. I had another friend who basically said the same thing, like it's not our job to teach them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not our job to teach them, but at the same time, we have to educate people. We have to let people know. Well, we can't just be upset because they don't understand. And we feel like, they see it and it's right in front of them. They should get it. They should understand, but they don't.
Right.
And when we see, okay, they're not getting it, how can we better educate people? How can we give them information to help them? And one of the things, like doing shows like this, is being able to have these type of conversations. You know what I'm saying?
The sit downs and the just like she did. She reached out to me. You know, what do I need to do to help? You know, and like I said, going back to what you said, it's not my job to teach you, but it still is okay. If you reached out to want to know more, here it is.
Yeah.
I've done my part to try and make the change or help.
And one of the things like you mentioned, that's why I had to write my note down so I could remember. It's what is it called? Like the pedestrian. Not the pedestrian bystander. Bystander effect or bystander. Whatever it is.
Stand by.
You know what I'm talking about?
No. Sociology major.
So when let's say like something's happened, a person's being mugged.
Okay.
Then you have people that stand by and they'll just watch. They won't say anything. They won't do anything.
Okay.
It's that bystander effect.
Okay, yeah.
Because they see it, but they won't watch. And I think that a lot of times that's the issue that we see when it comes to a lot of people that aren't black. They have this bystander effect of, it's not affecting me, then I see it, I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to say anything about it. But it's like the fact that if I can look on my timeline and I see, if I have, at one point I had like 4,000 something Facebook friends, it's slowly getting down there.
I'm pretty sure.
Like I'm at like 1,000 and something now. But my thing is, if you're not saying something, then to me that kind of makes me feel like you agree with it. And I can't. Yeah. I can't rock with you like that. Sorry.
And look, I know we have cameras now, and that's the reason why things are blowing up.
Yeah, definitely.
Too. Definitely. Because we have cameras and it's on. You're being caught. My whole thing is, if you see something happening to me, or if I see something happening to my friends, forget that camera. We going in the trenches together, and that's just me because I'm just like, what is me recording gonna do if you're sitting there about to lose your life?
Yeah, definitely. And it's sad. It's like, look with George Floyd. It's like we're looking at. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I haven't watched like the full clipping of that. I can't watch it. Like a grown man, laying on the ground, crying for his mama. as his life is being taken.
Yeah.
And people, I don't see how the world is not mad about that. Like, it just, it made a difference, but there were still people who were not affected by it. And I just don't understand it.
And, I mean, look at the election. So many, it was, I really thought.
Well, so, okay, transition into our last topic, like, on this whole broad topic of Black in 2020 is, okay, this election that happened last week. Okay. The election itself took about a week. Like, the results took about a week. So, what are your thoughts? Like, you're about to say something.
I was scared. I was really scared because all my years of voting in elections, you wake up the next morning and you know who the president is. Wednesday came, I woke up, still no president. Thursday came, still no. I said, Lord.
Friday, Saturday. Because I guess it was like called on Saturday.
Yes. We finally found out on Saturday who it was. And I'm just like, by Thursday, I was like, Lord, it's in your hands.
Me too, bro. I was like, God, are you there? You don't see this?
What is it? But it goes back to me saying, if we were that frightful that man was going to get in office another 4 years, and it just brings it all the way down to the division, the racism still, because he was close.
And that's the thing. It's like it wasn't like even 50% or anything. Like, it was Joe was slightly above, but it was still like he still got over 60-something million votes. And I think when people say, okay, I have an issue with Trump, it's not about Republican and Democrat. It's about what Trump stands for and what Trump how he stirs the pot.
Right.
And it's like, I feel like the way I kind of put it is, most Republicans are worried about him taking money out of their pockets. And other people are worried about their lives being taken. Right. So me voting for Biden is me voting to try to save my life, try to save other people like me lives.
Right. And
Trump is somebody who he stirs up hatred. And it's like, oh, well, Trump didn't create racism. No, he didn't. But he made people feel like it was okay to engage in those behaviors.
Right.
And it's not saying that, like, cops wasn't killing people before and murders wasn't going on, but it's like the level of arrogance when it came to how people portrayed themselves when Trump was in that position. Right. It's like they felt like it was okay.
Right. And it was leading up to it because Obama got in, and you started seeing and hearing some things with racism. And so Obama's term is gone, and then you have the face in the White House giving people the free range to do whatever they want to do. Because they have someone who, for one, he doesn't pay attention to authority
at all.
He feels like he makes the rules, so that was their faith. And still to this day, we're gonna have to deal with the aftermath. But it's sad how divided this man has made this country. And I like I said, I know a lot of people who are Trump supporters. I know a lot of Hispanic people who are Trump supporters, and that baffled me. That behooved.
I don't get it.
But we talking about being black in 2020.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, I'm glad that he's gone.
No, you're not going yet. You got a couple more days or a couple more weeks, but
it's another 4 years of someone else.
Yeah, and I think my thing is like, you may not agree with Biden. You don't have to You don't have to support him. Like, I'm not gonna say Biden is the best choice,
right?
But it's like it's a choice of someone that's for the people or someone who's not for the people, who's all for them. So like, and you know, I'm not like I think I didn't do well in my political science class, but not at all. Don't judge me. Don't
I'm
judge
not
me.
judging at all.
But I think when people are like, oh, well, Trump didn't take any money from any of his payment of as president over the last 4 years, I'm like, because he's been stacking up the chips so that once he's not president, he like all of his money he's probably gonna have tax-free money somewhere sitting because he's created this road for him to get to that place. That's what he's been doing.
And to be honest, let's just be all the way honest. A lot of that stuff that in the debates with Trump and Biden, did y'all really know what they were talking about?
I didn't. I ain't gonna lie.
So let's just make it and bring it all the way down to a buck. Trump, Biden. You know Trump was racist. And Biden was Biden.
And
okay.
So my last thought on Trump now. But he's like, you know, I've done so much for the black people. And one of the main things he says is,
I said that right there.
But one of the things he...
Ooh, excuse me.
Man, COVID on you. See?
No,
okay.
no COVID.
We good. That was a sneeze. Anyway.
I promise.
Anyway, one of the main things he always says when he makes that comment is, like, prison reform. Mm-hmm. Nigga, I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to bleep that out. I said the N-word. Sorry about that, mama. But, bruh, when you think of black people and helping black people, the first thing that comes to your mind is prison reform.
The systematic. That's the system, though.
But it's like,
these are the system.
But it's like black people, prison. That's what you think of.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
And then, like I said before, I think I mentioned it before. White people saying, "Oh, but I have a lot of black friends." That's what Trump gives me when he says, "I've helped a lot of black people." And I'm like,
who is your black friend? Kanye West.
I'm like, that right there is like, even in the debate, he was just like, I'm the least racist in here.
Like, I can't see the people in here. Like, bro, you sound stupid. But anyway, I digress.
So my whole thing with getting him out, he was not a good face for America.
Yeah.
And America is in the shambles right now. And we're trying to claw our way back up.
Trying.
But it's just, I'm very hopeful. Now, I'm very hopeful for the next 4 years.
So, all right, what are your final thoughts, just as a whole, on being black in 2020?
Being black in 2020. Oh, that was my point. I said it. I got it out. I hope that, I don't know where the change will come. When the change will come, how the change will come, where the change will come from. But I want change. I want to see our people flourish and do so many great things and build one another. And maybe the change starts with us in our own community without, the other races. Like, we have to get us together. That's just my whole thing. I'll never stop pouring into my other black people and wanting to see them win. I'll never stop doing that. And if people can kind of get in that same mindset, I think we'll be like what white people are scared of. We'll be at our best.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, it's just being black in 2020, it's a struggle. And I think the best thing that we can do is just keep pushing forward. And if there's something that you want to do, try it. If there's something that you're afraid to do, just say F it and like, I'm gonna do it, because you'll never achieve greatness without trying, and you're gonna fail. Believe me, you will fail.
Right.
You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail a few times.
Right.
A lot of times, but you'll never get there unless you try. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, as like being in school and everything right now, this isn't something that I saw for myself 5-6 years ago. And to be where I am right now, and being more competitive and like within the industry, the field and stuff, and my goal is to do all the things they said I couldn't do. Do all the things that I want to do that I told myself I couldn't do.
Right.
And as black people, when we get out of that mindset of having this gate around our own head, around our own heart, we can change the world.
Right.
And it's about loving other people. And I think for me, I want people to take a step back from everything that's going on in the world and just look at the people that are close to you. Look at the people that you know, that you see on a daily basis, and say, okay, I love you.
Right.
I want to support you. I want to uplift you.
Yes.
No matter how big, how small it is. It's like, just make a change, man. Make a change.
A simple share. A simple, hey, my friend, just something to support.
I got a perfect example. Imagine you and I were doing a new show called No Filter, right? And people are like, you know what? Look at Marthea! Look at Bobby! I know them! Let me share this. Let me tell my friend about it. But
they gonna watch, because they always watch.
They watch. They might not like it. They might not share it. It's just like, why?
Why? Right.
But it doesn't matter.
No shade, no tea, though.
But at the end of the day,
what is for us, though, will be for us.
Amen.
So, just watch, like, share, support, subscribe.
So, hey, if y'all stuck it out with us to the end, make sure y'all leave a comment. Let us know what y'all thought. And let us know how y'all are feeling right now being black in 2020.
Right.
Follow us on Instagram at No Filter the Show, on Facebook at No Filter, and go to YouTube and put in No Filter. And we'll put the link somewhere in the description and
we'll be sharing it.
Yeah, so y'all can make sure y'all check us out and tune in next week for the next episode of No Filter. So I am Bobby Jarrell.
I'm Marthea.
And we're out. Peace.